The Puppy Who Found a Magic Key. Once upon a time, in a cozy little town nestled between rolling green hills and sparkling blue streams, there lived a curious puppy named Max. Max had soft golden fur that gleamed in the sunlight, floppy ears that bounced when he ran, and a nose that twitched with every new scent that floated on the wind. Max was a playful puppy, always eager to explore, always ready for adventure. One bright and breezy morning, Max woke up to the sound of birds singing outside his window. He stretched his tiny paws and wagged his tail, excited for a new day. The sun peeked through the curtains, painting golden patterns on the wooden floor. Max sniffed the air, wondering what surprises the day might bring. After a delicious breakfast, Max trotted outside into the garden. The grass was cool and damp beneath his paws. Bees buzzed lazily around the flowers, and butterflies danced in the air. Max chased a butterfly for a little while, giggling in his own puppy way as it fluttered just out of reach. But then something caught his attention. There, near the old oak tree at the edge of the yard, something shiny was glinting in the grass. Max's nose twitched. He crept closer, his ears perked up, his tail wagging with excitement. Lying in the soft moss was a tiny, sparkling key. It shimmered with all the colours of the rainbow, and when Max sniffed it, it smelled like fresh cookies and new adventures. Max carefully picked up the key in his mouth and looked around. Who could have dropped such a beautiful thing? As Max sat under the big oak tree examining his new discovery, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves above. Suddenly, Max heard a soft voice, as light as the wind. "Hello, Max," the voice whispered. Surprised, Max looked around, but he didn't see anyone. The voice giggled. "Down here, Max!" Looking closer, Max saw a tiny mouse wearing a blue vest, peeking out from behind a dandelion. The mouse's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Hi, I'm Pip," said the mouse. "That's a very special key you have there." Max wagged his tail. "Really? What does it open?" Pip's whiskers twitched. "It's a magic key. It opens doors to hidden places, places full of wonder and fun. But you have to find the right door first." Max's eyes grew wide. "Where can I find such a door?" Pip grinned. "Only the bravest and kindest puppies can find it. Shall we look together?" Max nodded eagerly, and so the puppy and the mouse set off on their adventure. They wandered through the garden, searching for anything that looked like a secret door. They sniffed around the rose bushes, peeked behind the shed, and even looked under the garden bench. But there was nothing unusual. Just as Max was about to give up, he noticed something strange near the back fence. There, hidden by a tangle of ivy, was a tiny wooden door, no bigger than a shoebox. It had a golden keyhole, and the wood was carved with swirling patterns of stars and moons. Max's heart raced with excitement. He gently placed the sparkling key into the keyhole and turned it. Click! The door swung open, and a warm golden light spilled out. Pip squeaked with delight. "You did it, Max!" Max peeked inside. Beyond the door was a magical world, more incredible than anything he had ever imagined. There were rolling meadows filled with candy-coloured flowers, rivers that sparkled like diamonds, and trees with leaves made of silver and gold. Strange and wonderful creatures danced and played. Rabbits with wings, squirrels in tiny hats, and even a friendly dragon who waved at Max with his tail. Max and Pip stepped through the door and the adventure began. They raced through fields of singing flowers, their petals humming gentle lullabies. They slid down rainbows that arched across the sky, giggling as the colours tickled their fur. They played hide and seek with invisible kittens and learned to juggle glowing fireflies. Everywhere they went, the creatures of the magical world greeted them with kindness and laughter. Max discovered he could talk to all of them, and they shared their stories and secrets. The wise old owl taught Max how to read the stars, and the gentle unicorn showed him how to listen to the music in the wind. But soon, Max and Pip realized that something was missing in this magical land. The creatures told them that the great bell, which brought happiness and sunshine to the world, had stopped ringing. Without the bell, the sky was growing dim, and the flowers were losing their bright colours. The creatures asked Max for help. "You found the magic key, Max," said the dragon. "Maybe you can help us find the bell." Max wanted to help his new friends. He took a deep breath and promised to do his best. With Pip by his side, Max set off on a new quest to find the great bell and bring joy back to the magical world. They journeyed through enchanted forests and across crystal-clear lakes. They climbed tall mountains where snowflakes danced like tiny stars. Along the way, Max and Pip solved riddles, followed mysterious footprints, and helped anyone who needed a hand. A lost hedgehog, a family of ducklings, even a grumpy old toad who had forgotten how to smile. At last, they reached a hidden valley where the sky glowed with a gentle golden light. In the center of the valley stood a tall silver tower. At the very top, Max could see the great bell, silent and still. But the tower was surrounded by a thick hedge of thorny vines. Max knew he had to be brave. He squeezed through the vines, careful not to get poked, and climbed the spiral staircase inside the tower. Pip cheered him on from below. At the top of the tower, Max found the bell, covered in dust and cobwebs. He gently brushed it clean with his tail. There, next to the bell, was a small, rusty lock. Max smiled. He took out the sparkling key and fit it into the lock. With a soft click, the lock opened and the bell began to glow. Max wagged his tail and gave the bell a gentle nudge with his nose. The bell began to ring, its sound pure and bright, echoing across the magical land. The sky sparkled with sunlight. The flowers burst into colour, and laughter filled the air. The creatures cheered and danced, and Max felt a warm, happy glow in his heart. Pip hugged Max. "You did it! You brought joy back to our world." Max smiled. "I couldn't have done it without you, Pip." Together they celebrated with their new friends. They shared stories and treats, and everyone thanked Max for his courage and kindness. As the sun began to set, Max and Pip returned to the little wooden door. Max looked back at the magical land, feeling grateful for all the new friends he had made. When he stepped through the door, Max found himself back in his garden, the sparkling key still in his paw. He looked up and saw Pip winking at him from behind a dandelion. "Remember, Max," Pip whispered, "magic is everywhere, as long as you have kindness in your heart and the courage to help others." From that day on, Max kept the magic key safe, knowing that whenever he needed a little adventure or wanted to help a friend, all he had to do was believe in himself and follow his heart. And so, Max the puppy lived happily ever after, his days filled with wonder, friendship, and a touch of magic, just waiting for the next adventure to begin. The end.